Hey guys, welcome back to the Bitten Anime Podcast. I'm your host Shinry here at the Bitten Anime Podcast. I'm from anime, manga, video games, TV shows, and we're on the topic I'm talking about. Today's video is on Dr. Stone chapters 202 to 204, Ryusui's brother Sai. Now, where we last left off with Dr. Stone, we found out that we only have 3 more items to build our spaceship. We need spacesuits, the rocket engine, and then finally the rocket itself. And to do that, we have now split into 3 teams. So we have Team 1 that's going to be in Super Alloy City. They're working on the spaceship engine itself. I think that's Team Zeno. And then we have Team 2 going to revive 1 million people in Corn City in North America. That's their job, to revive 1 million people. We need 1 million people in order to finally create the spaceship. And then finally, our final team is going to establish the last 3 cities we need. Establish the last 3 cities. Now, one thing I was confused about, because I'm actually caught up to chapter 210, I forgot the cities that we're going to establish, but I do know them, but I'm going to pretend like I don't know them because, when I do these reviews, I talk to you guys about things, like if I don't know, but because it's been like at least 3 weeks since I reviewed Dr. Stone, I steadily kept reading. I stopped at certain points because I want to get too far, and I want you guys to be surprised with me, but sometimes a little bit further ahead. So I do know the final 3 cities that we're going to, but at first that's fine. I didn't know what the 3 cities were. But the next location we are going to is going to be in the Mediterranean Sea, and specifically Spain, to obtain a new material called fluorite, which is essential to building our spacesuits, and Francios and Rysui truly desire it. Now, we know Ryusui, he desires everything. If Ryusui sees something, he wants to obtain it. I specifically didn't know what fluorite was, but that's a great thing about Dr. Stone. Dr. Stone teaches us about science and things like that and how you can create these things at home, so I really love that. But I knew since Francios also desired it, it had to do something with cooking. It has to, because Francios is our chef. She specifically loves to cook, and especially making new things. But most hilariously, what she specifically wants is olive oil, which is just hilarious because I should have known, I knew it had to do something to do with cooking, but olive oil and butter, those are essential things that we use for cooking. And, olive oil, I use it in my cooking all the time, so I loved how, clever this was. Of course, Ryusui wants it because, Ryusui, again, desires everything, but putting Francios in it as well helped us realize, it has to do with cooking. And so I love that. Because olive oil is something we have in modern day, but she's been doing everything from scratch. And before in Ishigami Village, they were just eating fish soup, eat fish itself, fish bowls, fish everything. And then Francios came and started mixing stuff up. Then we eventually got bread. So we're slowly getting to modern day food. I also love Chrome's reaction. And they're like, we can desire multiple things at once. Because Chrome's like, olive oil? What do you want with that? That's sounding random. And they're like, we can desire multiple things at once. What does it matter? I just thought that was pretty funny. I love Chrome. Chrome's my favorite character, as you guys already know by now. Even though Chrome has no idea what olive oil is, but I know the moment he tries it, it's going to blow him away. It blows away all of our characters. When they have ice cream for the first time and drinks for the first time, stuff like that, and cola, it's going to blow his mind. And as soon as we arrive in Spain, specifically Barcelona, I don't remember the name Barcelona because of Cheetah Girls 2. And I think that's even in the random side tangent. In the, they used to do Disney used to do these little clips or little side little bar tips about fun facts about the movie. And one of the fun facts was that even the Cheetah Girls didn't know about Barcelona like that. They had no connection to it. They had no idea what it was. But they went there and performed for the first time, and Barcelona got introduced to the Cheetah Girls. Very cool. Just a random side tangent. Now, once we arrived, I was like, there shouldn't be any new enemies, because unless more people travel from Ishigami Village around the world, there wouldn't be enemies here. But even if there were new enemies, the world got re-petrified again by the Y-Man. Even Zeno's team was petrified. So I was like, we can't be encountering enemies in these new cities. And plus, there's only about 30 chapters left. So I was like, what's going to happen here? What are we going to run into that's going to be an obstacle? Turns out nothing. Nothing's going to be an obstacle for us here. Although we could have revived new enemies, because we're going on the road reviving people. We could have revived somebody that could become an enemy. So that could be possible. That could have been. But immediately we began to harvest materials and building our base. After all, we just spent a week at sea. There's no need to rush immediately and hit the water. So once we arrived in Barcelona, the team's like, okay, it's time to set up base here. We're going to be here for a little bit. We just got out to sea. And I was like, okay, we got 30 chapters and we got two more cities to go to. So I'm assuming like there's going to be like some mini arcs, some mini fights, mini battles, something like that. Did not know what was going to happen. But after collecting olives and grinding them as we've done, and we've easily crushed things before, Kaseki and Kohaku, with the Kaseki and Kohaku's help, we obtain olive oil, and Francis assures them that their taste buds are going to be happy. If their taste buds were happy with their food before, they're going to be ecstatic now. And I really love it because you can see their characters' faces like, oh my god, the flavors just changed immediately. And yeah, them spices and stuff like that, it really changes your food, okay? Add some spice in your life. If you're just eating dry food and you add no spice in it like that. I know olive oil is not a spice, but it do change the flavor of your food. We then begin to arrive people in Barcelona. It seems at random, and thanks to Francio's cooking, she already has prepared a meal for them. So we're just reviving anybody. As Senku said, like, no bias, nothing like that. We're going to revive anybody, and we're going to put you to work after we revive you. But since we're gonna feed you, but since we fed you, now you're gonna work for us. Like you work for us, and that's how Senku. And I love it because that's Senku's whole thing. He's like, oh, we're gonna revive you, but now that you're revived, we still got work to do. You've been asleep for like 3,700 years, but now you gotta get to work. You gotta get back to work. This is awesome because our plan is to revive everyone without prejudice, but this could also be how we get our next antagonist. Oh, yeah, so I did put this in my notes, that there could be a potential protagonist in each city because we're reviving people at random. Like, we don't know who these people are. We don't know if they're going to be good or bad or anything like that. But I think, no, Tsukasa stayed with Zeno. We have Hyoga. So if anything does go sideways, no, Hyoga went with another team too. We got Wahaku, though. We might have Matsukaze too. I know we got Spider. We got a Spider mixed up with all of our teams. So we have somebody that can fight if need be. We can also see that more animals were unaffected by the petrification light. And this is the first time we see a bull that wasn't petrified. We know birds got petrified. We don't know why birds got petrified along with humans, but we know the rest of the animals didn't. That's including dogs, pigs, because we saw that when Sukiya got. Remember, like, first a dog and a pig were still out there, and the monkeys and stuff like that. So we don't know why humans were just affected and birds, but certain other animals aren't. So I'm still curious about that. I really need the answer to that about why birds were affected. Rysui, however, is just excited because when in Barcelona, do as the Barcelonians do, and he immediately begins I think it's like what's it called? Not bull running. I don't know what it's called. We know like Toro, like playing with the bull. He grabs like a red curtain and immediately begins making the bull. Eventually, I think he makes the bull run into like a tree or something like that. It's like some Looney Tunes shit. Very funny, very cute though, and I love the homage. We continue to collect animals and help build resources for the people that we revived in Barcelona, and the more people we are reviving, so they can thrive and we can move on to further cities. Oh yeah, so we're hoping since we've established the people in Barcelona and Spain that we revived you, we're gonna teach you how to revive more people, and we're gonna move on to the next city. We don't have time to sit here. Like, we're gonna help y'all build. We're gonna help y'all kind of get like a modern day Spain. Not modern day Spain, like a pre-modern day Spain. You got your bulls, you got your animals, you know, the farm, you got your agriculture back. Build your city back up, because once we get back and up and running, we need everybody here. So I love that, these next two cities, we're just gonna revive people, build up some of their culture, and then we're gonna leave because we're like, hey, we gotta get to the moon. We gotta stop the white man. The white man can repetrify us at any moment. But the next thing Francios creates is a sweet treat known to Spain, and that is churros. Really love that because, again, they're trying to revive the culture of each city they go to. So I don't know, the other two cities that we're going to go to, I'm assuming they're going to create a dish that's native to that culture or a country or city, and then the people there will be grateful, but also Francios builds up her own menu as well. Also, because I know we made money before, after immediately reviving Rysui, we got Dragos. That's what they called money. And I never realized we never made coins. We did make paper because we made money because they had paper, but we never made coins. That's a totally different material that can only be obtained after creating Super Alloy City. So I really love this, and we're gonna go over the different coins they made. They're kind of replicas of like the penny, the dime, the quarter, and the nickel, but they have our characters' faces on it. So Kaseki seems to be the penny, which is kind of funny because Kaseki's like the most valuable person on our team, or one of the most valuable people on our team. He's the penny. Suki is the nickel, which I thought was cute. Of course, he makes Suki the nickel. Chrome is a dime. Okay, I love Chrome. Okay, I'm fucking with Chrome. And of course, Senku is the quarter, which makes sense. I love it. Senku has the most value as a team. Well, I'm surprised Rysui didn't throw his face on any of the quarters. But I think Rysui is the Dragos anyway. He's the dollars, you know. So Rysui ain't worried about it. Rysui owns the bank anyway. So I really love that how creative it is. Like, that's how we're gonna reintroduce money. And once we build this new society again, back up from scratch, I wonder if we're gonna keep the Dragos. I wonder if Rysui is really gonna control the bank for the rest of the time, and our characters' faces will always be on the new quarters and stuff like that. I guess it would so because the presidents exist on our currency these days, and the presidents have long died, so it would make sense in this new currency it stays our characters. That's pretty cool. The people revived in Spain are awed and thankful, and they note that they aren't using science as Zeno would to try to rule over them. Instead, they're reviving people out of earnest and keeping their traditions alive, and so they've gained their respect. Again, I love this. Again, this is what Senku's doing. He's reviving people without bias. Whereas, Senku, yeah, because Zeno would revive people and then become a dictator. These people are like, oh, you revived us, and you're just doing it because you want to. You're doing it to help us. You're doing it to bring everybody back. We're definitely going to help you. We'll do whatever you need us to. Especially to revive our culture and things like that. And so again, that's what I said. Dr. Stone is such a great manga. It's so awesome. If you're not reading Dr. Stone, you have to check it out. Trust me. This is followed by an incredible shot of people bowing down to our kingdom of science. Rysui is the same as Luffy. He's like, we ain't got time for that ruling and bowing down stuff. We got things to do. Let's just celebrate. And again, that's how Luffy is. And if you read One Piece, I know this isn't a One Piece video, but Luffy's just the same way. Luffy's all about liberation and freeing people and having a party. After we saved your village, after we saved your town, after we saved your country, they just want to party. They're like, hey, let's celebrate. We're in Spain. Do what Barcelonans do. I put in here, he's such a great writer. This is really good writing. It's very creative, and I really love it. It really shows that this author has a lot of passion for what he's writing about. He has a lot of knowledge of what he's writing about, and he's putting it into the story, and it's really fucking good. However, we will need their help in turn for saving them, so we only ask that they help us to obtain fluorite, which is all over in their country, and they happily agree. They're like, hey, fluorite exists all over in Barcelona. We'll help you get it. We'll help you obtain it. Whatever you need, we got it. And thanks to their help, we obtain it in no time. I should also mention, it's confirmed, if I didn't say it before, that Sukiya no longer needs glasses. I know it's kind of been like a thing where I had brought it up after she got revived a second or third time. Like, it seemed like she wore her glass helmet, but then she doesn't. But yeah, Sukiya no longer needs her glasses. Her eyesight has been fixed. But thanks to fluorite, we now obtained a leveled up lens for a telescope, which is pretty cool because we don't have that. We never had a telescope. I never realized that either. Even though that's something, I feel like something we could have done at some point. Meanwhile, Kaseki finishes up a prototype of the rocket, but because before we can launch it into space, we need a test dummy to see if it can even survive in space. Oh yeah, so and when we do build our rocket, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. So I would say we do need a dummy rocket that we can shoot into space and see if that survives before we put actual people on it. Because Senku, it's the pilot, the scientist, and the I might have skipped ahead. Well, no, I think we've already talked about that, but the pilot, the scientist, and the warrior, if they die before they make it to the Y-Man, we're not going to get another chance. The Y-Man might even be watching us. We don't know. But we then learn our next destination almost immediately. It's India, otherwise known as Math City. I had no idea that India was known for math. I think it's pretty cool. And this writer has been spot on before with all his facts, so I believe him. But that's pretty cool. I didn't know India was known as Math City or known for their mathematicians. That's a pretty cool fact to learn and know, and maybe mention in your math class or something like that. However, there's a problem. We were running low on fuel despite our ship being 5 times faster, and yeah, we could just create more biofuel from raw garbage, but Senku and Rysui deduced that could take a year. Like the amount of fuel that we're going to need to make it all across to the next 2 cities and then back to where we need to go to build a rocket, it's going to take a lot of fuel. So they're like, we'd have to sit here for a year. And I was like, there is no way the white man's going to wait a whole year, especially if he knows that you're reviving more people, especially if he knows that y'all are up to something. So we can't risk that. They had some speculating about taking a certain shortcut through Spain called the Suez Canal. But since it was man-made and not touched for 3,700 years, kind of like the Panama Canal, like we had just gone through when oh my God, I'm forgetting names. When Stanley Snyder had chased us and we had sent that dummy ship and he followed us and it was blocked off. We suspect that it could be blocked off again, and we don't want to risk it, especially low on fuel. If we make it to this Suez Canal and it's blocked off, we could waste our time, run out of fuel, and be stuck in the middle of the ocean. But since we have a geographer on our team and a telescope, we already created a hot air balloon. Our three science arts together, the telescope, the hot air balloon, and a geographer. We can use a hot air balloon and float up and go check out the Suez Canal and see if it's closed. And it is immediately confirmed by Chelsea that the path is blocked off. But still, she has a great idea, and it saved them from wasting a year. So we won't be stuck in Spain for a year because we have a way out of this. Chelsea notices that the path is blocked off by a dam, and if we just explode it, we can pass through. So the path that's blocked, it's not maintained by like rocks and stuff as the Panama Canal was, or whatever that canal was. This is just a wooden dam, probably from like trees falling over and things like that over 3,700 years. So like if we blow it up, we can get through. But since we know our kingdom of science, we know that there's no obstacle that can get in our way for too long. That is when I turn the page and even my mouth dropped. Yeah, that miniature test rocket that we have, we're gonna turn it into a missile. I thought that was so creative because I was like, okay, we don't have a bomb. I mean, we made a bomb before, like whenever we were in the Kingdom of Petrification, and Senku taught us how to make like a silent bomb that exploded that rock that was protecting the inside of the former spaceship. So I was like, okay, we're gonna do that again. Now we're gonna use this miniature rocket that Kiseki created, and we're gonna turn it into a missile. This is one of those darker necessities of science that Zeno was talking about. It can be a good or bad thing depending on how it's used. And thanks to Zeno teaching Senku, we already have everything we need to build a rocket or build a missile. Well, a rocket, but technically it'll be a missile because even though it is a rocket, we're going to see if it fires and it flies and we can aim it right and then, smooth sailing. Now, I thought maybe something would happen. I thought maybe the rocket would miss, or maybe it only damages the dam, or like some other thing that would like expand the story for us to stay in Barcelona a little bit longer. But nope. In the next two panels, they literally speak for themselves. It's not only beautifully drawn, but creatively written again and again. I'm going to give you a few seconds to show this off just because how beautiful it fucking looks. So thanks to the rocket, we now have blasted our way through the Suez Canal, and we're heading out straight towards India, a 2-chapter arc. It was crazy, but I loved it. We were only in Spain for 2 chapters. So I imagine like, okay, we're going to be in India for maybe 2 chapters, and then the last location for 2 chapters, and then that still gives us like 20 or so chapters left to explore the Y-Man and then build society and see how Dr. Stone ends, and then we can finally do our Dr. Stone tier list. But we'll just have to see how it goes, because where this chapter ends was really also mouth dropping. Now, what we hope to attain in India isn't a material itself, but wisdom and knowledge about math. Because India is known for math and mathematicians, we're hoping that somebody there can teach us math, calculations, and exact coordinates about how to get to the moon and like anything that could go wrong. And while that might not sound exciting at first, when it comes to shooting a rocket into space or even aiming at something like the moon, you don't want to be off even by a centimeter, because they need someone that can get exact calculations and exact numbers, because if we are off by even a little bit, we don't even know how we're going to control the rocket yet. All we know is like whoever goes into space, you can't miss the moon. If you miss the moon, we're done for. Or if something goes wrong, God forbid, like some kind of calculation or measurement on the rocket is wrong, the rocket could explode. That happens in real life and in everyday life when a rocket's shot off. That's why people go to like the rocket launches, because it's exciting, but it's also scary and dangerous for maybe your family and friends that are on there, or maybe just like to just see this event. And so they're going to get a mathematician. And I was like, okay, maybe we'll meet a new character. I mean, obviously we have to, right? Because everybody's petrified, so we have to revive a mathematician there, and they are going to help us build this rocket. Also, the reason why it's nicknamed Math City is because they were taught to memorize timetables throughout the double digits. I don't even think we were taught that in school. Like, I remember being taught timetables, but like I don't know anything about through the double digits, but I'm assuming that has to be very complicated if they're known as Math City and are famous for math. And it turns out there is a brand new character that we're going to trust and find, and his name is Sai. That's the new character we're going to meet. We do, however, get a first time. For the first time, get a date, and it apparently is October 1st, 5750. That's kind of dope. We knew that when Gen was revived, he saw that Senku had figured out the date and time that the world is in, but like we never had the exact date, at least in English, or ever said out loud like what today's date is. So that's pretty cool. Like we now have a date of like what the day and year is. It's 5750 in October. I also find it hilarious that the first thing they create here is curry. Only because I'm not a fan of curry. Like, I've always seen it in, like, anime with, like, you know, Rock Lee, like, eating curry and stuff like that in Naruto. But I've never been much of a fan of hot food. But I do think that is, like, again, a cuisine of India. And, again, Francios is going around building people's cultures up with food and things like that from scratch. Back to Sai, though, Rysui determines that Sai had a particular schedule, and that before class, he would sit on the rooftop of his school to be alone and study. He suspects that for 3,700 years, that's where Sai would still be. Sai probably got petrified sitting on top of his school, and they're like, hey, he can still be up there. We then come across a statue, which is probably the most unique I've seen so far. Now, I thought Sai would have multiple limbs based off how his stone body looked, and I thought that'd be weird. I didn't know how they were going to do that, but it could have been, I don't know, maybe like a artistic thing from the author, or maybe it was like a mistake. I don't think the author ever made mistakes. I think it might have been an artistic thing. I'll see it in the anime when it comes out. But I was excited to see what his design looked like. And honestly, Sai is kind of hot. Like, I am not all about anime characters. I'm not into manga characters, but Sai, I was like, his design, he gave me kind of sexy, okay? He was giving kind of fine, okay? All right, don't come for me, okay? However, his reaction to seeing Rysui is great. He is like horrified at the sight of Rysui. And I was like, okay, there is some kind of backstory here. There's some kind of story here. There's some kind of relationship here that we don't know about. He immediately begins to run away from him, and Kawaku catches him almost immediately, which makes him freak out. She's like, is this it? Is this how fast you can go? Like, he's sprinting for his life. And Kawaku's just like, you know, like Sonic chilling. She's like, hey, what are you doing? What you up to? Again, like a Looney Tunes character. But that's not even the craziest twist of all. The biggest twist in this chapter is that Sai is Ryusei's big brother. I didn't know his little brother. He's Ryusei's big brother. Yeah, that's right. Sai is Ryusei's older brother. It blew my mind. And that's why we ended this chapter. Now, I can't speculate from here, but I can tell you what's going to happen from here on is pretty fun. So, for now, I'm going to end this video over here. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'll talk to you later. Let me know your thoughts on these 3 chapters right now. What did you think of the Spain arc? What did you think about meeting Rysei's brother and his reaction to him, and then Kohaku just catches him immediately? Again, great gags, great humor. I really love Dr. Stone. Anyways, guys, I'll talk to you guys soon. I'll see you guys in the next one. Talk to you later. Bye. Hey guys, this video was sponsored by me, the author of the Shinry series, the Chronicles of Wayne, and Monsterverse. So I figured I'd do this outro a little bit different by showing you guys what you guys will be checking out. So, the Shinry series starts with Book 1, Shobu Samurai Project Aryoku. 10 years after the death of his parents, Shobu Samurai returns home seeking vengeance, but instead faces a choice to save his home from shadow creatures, blood beasts, and an organization once thought dead. Shinry's Shobu Samurai starts at $9.99. And if you love anime, manga, Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, Yu Yu Hakusho, Fairy Tail, Shaman King, Rave Master, Zatch Bell, anything like that, the Shinry series is definitely the series for you. You'll definitely want to check it out. The Sword of Light is probably the thickest one so far. And then these books are 2. This is Enter the Dread Zone Tournament. And the series original ending, Arado, the Legendary Conjuring Master. So, and I'll just show you guys some of the covers. Really proud of all of these. But I hope you guys check it out. If you don't like that, I also have the current published books for the Chronicles of Wayne, Love Be Damned, Cotton Candy, Full Moons, Fabled Lovers, A Cursed Virgin's Bite. If You Go Where Monsters Dance, Red will Reign Over Your House. Love Be Damned. Now, the Chronicles of Wayne is about a geeky guy, or a nerdy guy in high school. His senior year, he has a crush on the hottest guy in school, because of course he does. He's only got one best friend, and her name is Barb. Well, the hottest guy in school turns out to be a werewolf. And to make the story more interesting, he bites Wayne and turns Wayne into the first ever wolfman in the last 10 years. And because of that, it was also a sacred law that wolfman should never be created. I don't want to get into too much of the Chronicles of Wayne without spoiling it, but I can tell you it's very short. This one sells for $6.99, and Love BK's right after it. The ending of this trilogy, Love Be Liberated, comes out in October. So I'm going to definitely do a more full in-depth review of this one. But yeah, it's an LGBT fantasy fiction story about werewolves, vampires, white witches, a dark warlock, and, well, many, many more surprises to come. So if you guys like to read, I definitely recommend. These are all the books so far in the Shinry series, except for Shinry's Beginning. I do have that one, but it's just not here with me. But yeah, I appreciate a like, support, or just a review on Amazon. Either way, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a great day.